Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of Banter Blitz, now with adjusted sound. I'm excited to be here on this December 25th. Happy holidays everybody, Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. I hope you had a great Christmas Eve or you're gonna have one today, because I don't really know the rules. I know that over here people get gifts on the 24th, but I believe in the States you're supposed to get them on the 25th, right? So it's very confusing. Santa, busy guy, he probably has to catch an overnight flight, or I'm not sure what's happening there. But anyway, I hope you had a good time, got good food, good stuff. And now let's move on to crush all of you. We shall play 3-minute games or 5-minute games, and I shall be very upset and whiny should I not win. That's pretty much the format of the show. Challenge me by clicking on my name, which I guess is below the video. There should be something called challenge. And we're gonna start with Heike12, who it looks like has been waiting the longest for this. Almost there. What's with this? Here we go. Heike12, are you around? Merry Christmas to you, sir. No, this is just a regular tie. People are inquiring about my tie. I always wear ties with penguins on them because I like penguins. I was watching this, what's called Our Blue Planet or Planet Earth, one of these shows. Penguins seem to have a tough life because there's so many predators out there after the poor penguins. So I gotta support their cause while we have a Scotch game here. Let's see what Heike12 has in store. This is one of the lines which I play pretty much exclusively against this Scotch. He's trying to repeat moves. He's prepared this let's play with his feelings, as I like to do, and repeat once and then deviate. Because Queen e4, black has the alternative to play knight b4 here, which as far as I know is a pretty playable move. I always forget the details, which is a bit of a problem. But there were some tricks connected to it. If he goes a3, I believe I can go d5, cd, cd. And last time I checked, the tactics were working for black, but it's kind of a riskier winning attempt than just repeating moves, which of course is not the idea of this show, because I want to crush you all. He goes bishop d2, but that should still allow d5, if I'm not mistaken. CD, CD, queen b4, queen e5 check, and the queen is en prise. So I don't think bishop d2 is critical. I think knight c3 is the best move. Then you're supposed to go rook d8, and I thought black was fine. But I could be wrong on this front. Anyway, now I believe Heike is in real big trouble, because there's this c2 square, which is a nice landing spot for my knight. So bishop d2, not the best idea. And Heike, we're here to learn something. Don't try to repeat moves. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not really here to learn something. I'm just here to talk nonsense. Especially over the holidays. I'm very confused if I'm supposed to say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. I'm not up to date on the politically correct way to say it. But who knows? A lot of questions out there. This is the problem. This is a discovered check. The bishop from f8 is hitting his queen on b4. Queen on e5 is hitting his king. So that's troubles. Sorry. I'm not that sorry. We're gonna get to The Force Awakens later. I've watched the Star Wars movie. Else, what have I been doing? Not that much pop culture-wise. I've been listening to my podcasts, and Heike resigns because his queen doesn't have a way out. Sorry, Heike. Haven't followed Qatar all that closely. I've clicked through the games, guessing they're on a rest day today, right? No rest day for us. We're gonna play Der Rufi. Another German. The Germans on their first Christmas day are hanging out. Galdurnovzhek, that's a tough name, wants to know what's up with the new video series. I'm working on it, I'm slow with it, but I'm optimistic. It's gonna come out in 2015. While here, I played knight f6 for variety's sake. He goes d4. Normally I play bishop c5, not knight f6, so I'm not that booked up here, but still reasonably booked up. So let's see what the Rufi is up to. Castles, you could go bishop c5 here, but as far as I know, you can just take this pawn, rook e1, d5. This is a line you learn as a kid when you're normally very impressed after you've seen this trick, bishop d5 followed by knight to c3. You get your material back. Then as a grown-up, you kind of have to realize that unfortunately there's nothing for white. Queen h5 is one of the moves, queen a5 is fine as well, even queen d8 or queen d... I think even queen d8 is supposed to be fine. But this is sort of the easiest way to play. Best move for white is bishop to g5. When you can spice it up by going h6, bishop to f6. Or you can play very solidly and boringly bishop g5, bishop d6, which just leads to equality. And Alex Nogal doesn't have to tell me there's a big NBA game today. That's why I scheduled this show accordingly, so I have time to mentally prepare for Cavs Warriors. I'm, of course, rooting against the Cleveland Cavaliers, as you do as a hater. Well, here, black is just slightly better. Many ways to play. The most straightforward is to just take and then do something and enjoy the two bishops. I could be a little more pretentious and go long castles, but just bishop e3 doesn't really change much, so I'll take. And I'm gonna have the bishop pair. And as we all know, two bishops are stronger than two knights. Unfortunately, he has a bishop and a knight, but they're still stronger. I feel actually I've slightly misplayed it. I should have gone long castles first, because here he could have gone bishop f4, hitting the c7 pawn, which is a little awkward. But generally, this is one of these positions that if you're a less experienced player, might look equal to you. And probably actually if you switch on the computer, it's gonna say it's equal. But I very much prefer to be black here, because the two bishops, long-term or even mid-term, can do damage against this bishop-knight combination. I'm not sure if rook d8 is correct. I could just, try to restrict the knight squares. But somehow in all these old endgame books, they always tell you, exchange a pair of rooks and take it from there, and then pretend it's part of your big plan. I never really got the concept. But I do think I am very, very comfortable here. Thinking if I should take a time out to play either f6 or h6, probably h6. Not sure I had to, but it's always nice to get rid of back rank problems and potential bishop g5 threats. Now I was gonna say I'm gonna start probing for weaknesses with a5 followed by a4. Once again, not 100% sure if this is the way to go. f5 was also quite a tempting move. Rook d1, I'll go back. No, I'll go forward. He goes back. Obviously the Spurs are good. Back to the basketball chatter. I've always been a Spurs fan. I like the way they go about their business. And mainly I became a fan, let's face it, when they had to deal with the Heat twice in the finals because I was rooting against LeBron. I mainly watch basketball as a hater. I just root against the Houston Rockets, the Clippers, and the Cavaliers, or whatever team LeBron's on. It's more fun that way. Rook b1. Thing is, I don't really want to encourage him to go knight c3 and knight d5 at some point. So I could just go bishop f5, but that's not very exciting. Textbook technique here. After all these years of yelling about the greatness of two bishops, I get the two bishops and I don't really know what I'm doing. When in doubt, put a rook on an open file. Thing is, the A file was already an open file, so I'm not that sure, but the added control of d5 might come in handy. goes c5. Now it is time to question that knight a little bit. cb6, nah, it's not gonna work. I just take the knight, bc, rook c8, or rook anywhere really, and I don't think he has enough for the piece. But if the knight has to go away, I will just feast on the c5 pawn. So the Rufi is going for broke here, giving up his bishop, no, his knight. I'm having a weird bishop-knight thing today. I have to at least think a little bit how I want to deal with Mr. C-pawn. Probably first I want to get my king a little closer. Oh, I'm playing terribly. Should have gone bishop b4 to stop that and to have bishop a5. Okay, having horribly mishandled all of this, it is time to focus. But now he does have some compensation. It's no longer so simple. Should still be okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if the computer gave like 0-0 here. Because yeah, it's all of a sudden hard to make progress. I think I can go bishop c5, rook d8 is not really a threat because bishop takes b6. So he has to do something else. He goes bishop e3 there. Rufi is playing quite well. Still don't know what to do. So I'll go here and see what happens. Not very pleased with the way I'm playing, but it's Christmas. I'm in a very giving spirit. Not true. Still in a peace-grabbing spirit, but I became a little careless here. Bishop f4, however, is very Christmassy in that it gives me another piece, but he's not gonna get the gifts he's expecting in return because rook d8 doesn't threaten all that much. I could just have gone bishop c7, but bishop g5 is more than good enough, just asking this rook to declare its intentions, because now I'm threatening to take here. So, pas de problème. King f1, but yeah, these pawns are not gonna queen. And to bring that message home, I'm gonna go king c8, king b7, king takes b6. Let's keep pass pawn of our own, just in case we want to create a queen. But for now, okay, let's stop the silliness and get a queen. Check. You know what? Let's mate when we get the queen, just to make sure no more accidents. Come on, boring chess. You gotta have your priorities in order. Missed 15 minutes to eat Christmas dinner. How can you do such a thing? Was it good at least? You had turkey? What did people eat for Christmas? Like I've been told in Germany, the most common thing is to have potato salad and sausages, which sounds disgusting, but I've been told that is the most common Christmas food in my country. Hard to believe, but that's what people say. Anyway, I won this game because its mate next move wasn't the most focused effort, but I did get the two bishops, which I liked. Then I played slightly strangely, but the Rufi became too optimistic, and we're gonna play Mr. Gambit. What's with all the Germans today? I'm just going through the list. As usual, I don't really like my people, so I don't prioritize Germans at all. But they are on top of the list. Mr. Gambit going for the King's Indian. Portis 2 is wishing a Happy New Year. We're not there yet. Still the old year. But thank you. Heike 12 wants a German Banter Blitz. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel Germans don't mind if I do it in English, but the English mind if I do it in German? I'll throw in one once at some point, but yeah, when we did this 72 hours marathon, the feedback I got was, nah, stop doing it in German. We want everything in lovely English. So I've been prioritizing English, but we can do a German one at some point for sure. First, we gotta crush all the Germans here in this show because he plays a King's Indian, the main line, and I'm playing the so-called bayonet attack. a5, one of the main moves, the other one is knight to h5. Here white has a choice between bishop a3 and b takes a5. Both are very, very playable. And I think, yeah, I've studied both at one point or another. Can't remember conclusions, but bishop a3 is the main line. Now black has a choice, ab bishop b4, knight d7, ab bishop b4, b6, all kinds of things. Knight d7, as usual, I can't remember. When in doubt, push your a-pawn. I believe a common plan is to go knight d2, followed by knight b3 to prepare c5. The bishop often goes to d3. I want to wait one move with knight d2, because if he goes f5 now, knight g5 looks tempting. So I will see if I can get that in. Goes b6, but now I should be in time to go a5. Normally, you don't want to allow this unless you can meet a5 with c5, which is a typical trick, but it doesn't seem to work here, because then I take, knight takes, bishop takes d6. Well, of course, strategically, it's very desirable for white to open the queen side, create some weaknesses there. Now you go f5, Mr. Gambit. I could just go ab6, or I could go knight g5, as I was intending against an immediate a5, f5, but ab6 looks simple and good. Let's not make life too complicated. A lot of Star Wars questions. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, as I've mentioned the other show. I thought it was an alright movie, I didn't mind it. Like, a lot of this stuff, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but a lot of the beloved characters from, I believe, the first movie, they call it the fourth movie, this A New Hope thing, show up again, and people were very excited to see them and their interactions. I don't really have these fond childhood memories, so it didn't do it for me, but it's a competent movie. Very, very similar, I would say, to this A New Hope thing. But that's probably a good thing, so the Star Wars nerds are very excited about it. It's watchable. For me, it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but I didn't hate it, and I went in with the intention of hating it, if possible at all, so it's probably quite good. Mr. Gambit is in a bit of trouble here. His early aggression, his combination of playing b6 and then f5 doesn't really work out. He should go knight takes b6, but then I can go c5, open the position even further. Knight f6 just doesn't make sense. Sorry, Mr. Gambit. It's fine to play in the sacrificial spirit of the King's Indian, but you can't give me all your pawns and not checkmate me. That doesn't work normally. I'll take them. I do like taking pawns. And Mr. Gambit didn't see knight takes e5 coming, resigns here. That didn't go well. Main culprit, I would say, is the move b6. In this particular position, it doesn't mix well with the other moves, and after a5, white already has a pretty good head start. Let us play against someone else. I'm sorry, I must make a new rule next game against a non-German. Too many Germans. I'll only make that rule for one game, though. I'll play against a gentleman from India, it sounds like. Probably not very good at pronouncing the name. Ritvik Ratar Krishnan goes d4. What can I do? I'll play in honor of Shakhonsky. I'll only do this once ever in this program, and don't repeat this because this is arguably the worst move in the position. But I'll play the hard rock gambit, that's what he calls it. The point doesn't have much point. Is to sacrifice a pawn on the first move and that way put a lot of psychological pressure on your opponents. Then if he takes on d6, you want to get your pieces out quickly. Bishop g4, queen e7, long castles, and hope for tricks. That's pretty much my understanding of it. I don't endorse it. I think it's a terrible choice. But gotta bring in some variety, and I'm in a giving spirit, as I mentioned. Only h3 is always met with h5 in these lines, but can't really pull that off when white hasn't castled yet. e4, I'll put my queen here. You could also make a case for queen d7, but this at least attacks a pawn. Yeah, I'm already regretting my choice. It's just a pawn down. It's not a good opening. b5. I could take on e4, which would be my... No, I could. Sorry, I'm going nuts. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not going to play this opening ever again. I did give it a try, though. Probably have misplayed it. That actually is not much to misplay. It's just a horrible first move. No, I don't really want to play gambits. I'm not going to do it again. Queen e2. I think I'm going to have to castle here with a heavy heart, because long castles, bishop c6 just looks no good. Well, now at least I'm threatening knight d4, so he should probably take on c6 and enjoy his extra pawn. But allowing knight d4 gives me a new hope. Not sure the force awakens fully yet, but I certainly do have some added possibilities now. And am feeling much better about life than a move ago. Threatening a check even. Knight d5 stops my cruel intentions. I'll try to get the same trick again, but I have a feeling Ritvik spotted that and he's not going to allow me to win his queen, which is sad. Still, I should have at the very least full compensation for the pawn. Now he doesn't even take on d5, and that's probably wise. So let's see how to do this. Queen h4 looks obvious, and king g2. Bishop g6 also looks obvious. Can't decide. I'll go here. Clash City Rocker is struggling with challenging me. Sorry to hear that, Mr. Rocker. You can always search for Jan. Go to my profile and challenge me there if nothing else works. A lot of expertise on the King's Gambit in the chat. King's Gambit probably slightly better gambit than d4, e5, but still pretty terrible. So don't waste your time studying that. Learn normal openings. The Ruy Lopez is pretty good. Ritvik trying to hang in here. He's done well actually to hang in ever since allowing knight to d4. Should play f4 now to keep an eye on the h3 pawn. And I haven't really figured out how to proceed yet. I have a feeling I haven't been doing a lot of thinking today. Maybe just put this bishop here and see what happens. Generally I want a rook on the 6th rank, But yeah, he wisely goes queen g3, tries to exchange queens. That's not gonna happen, but I have to choose the right square. Maybe here, actually. So I can meet queen g5 with queen f3. I'm really not thinking straight. Oh boy. Now here, but he's gonna get in f5 with tempo. No, I'm playing terribly. I'm underestimating people. It's time to get my act together. Yeah. Problem is, this bishop might be trapped. So I'm gonna have to sell his life as pricey as possible. Queen g5, queen h3. But yeah, I've just been playing many horrible moves and I'm not very proud of myself. Let's bring the rook. This is sort of like a computer plays in the old days when they blundered a piece. Of course, they don't do that anymore, but even on this side, if you play Claudia or somebody and they blunder a piece, then they will always create one-move threats to avoid the inevitable. And that's pretty much what I've been doing here. But the inevitable is near. King h1, another good move. Ritvik has been playing very well, actually. I'll continue with my one-move threat policy, queen h2, and then I might be running out of one-movers. Yeah, I don't see another one. Could go queen h4, fe, rook g3. That's probably closest I can get. Still asking some questions. No, actually, I'm probably fine now, but I haven't really planned or seen any of this, so not very impressed with my play. I've been doing Cruel Intentions puns? No, I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years. First I liked it, but I remember the ending really let me down. I can't even remember what I disliked about the ending, but I did hate it. Don't know why. Should be 3. Shall I get cute here? Let's get cute. Not because of it. It makes sense, but because I still want to show off, even though I'm blundering pieces left and right. At the very least, I'm gonna get one of these two. And yeah, I'm kind of winning and Ritvik is out of time, but he played a good game nevertheless, while, yeah, I played pretty terribly. However, after allowing knight d4, I did have some play, or so I would like to think. I'll catch up with the chat. And there's many good openings that have the word Gambit in them. Or are there many? Yeah, Queen's Gambit is a safe bet, but that's not really a Gambit. Marshall Gambit? Is that called Marshall Gambit or Marshall Attack? I don't know what it's called. But it's one of my favorites, so I'm not against Gambits in particular. I just don't like bad Gambits. Well, I'm trying to find another opponent here. Let's play against max value number 10. Is he number 10? No, the Alvin counter gambit is terrible as well. Now, most of these bad gambits, they're bad. That's why they're bad gambits. I'm not sure how to categorize it. But the old time-honored rules, they have some point to them. Like you want a couple tempi, or you want some strategic pluses or some weaknesses of the king. Something in return for your pawn, and you don't get that in the Albin's counter gambit or the King's Gambit. The Evans Gambit makes sense, for example. There you get a bunch of tempi. That's a playable one. But, yeah, most of them are kind of nonsense, unfortunately. Here, yeah, I'm not a big perch theoretician. I'm not sure if e5 is the main line, but it looks logical enough trying to claim some space. DE, DE. We'll see what happens. I look like John Travolta. I'm not sure if I should take that as a compliment or an insult. Which John Travolta are we talking? Is this like Grease John Travolta or Pulp Fiction John Travolta? Or I'm trying to think of the name he mispronounced at this prize-giving ceremony. That was hilarious. I can't remember the name, but look it up. Nah, I'm not a big John Travolta guy. I like Pulp Fiction just as much as the next guy. But John Travolta, I don't know. Not a big fan. Yeah, bishop g5 was sort of provoking d5 and now f6. I'm not sure how wise that choice was. But in general, I'll play terribly. So far I've had low-rated opponents, so I've been getting away with it. But I'm not very confident about my Christmas banter skills so far. No, and once again, max value 10 is doing very well. If he plays bishop g4 now, I get absolutely nothing. Okay, it's time to focus. I don't even have anything interesting to say either, so it's not like I'm not making good moves, but I'm providing all this sensational entertainment. I'm just rambling and playing badly, which is very sad. Maybe it's a tie. It's very hard to play well with a penguin on your tie. Not gonna be able to do it, I'm afraid. Max value is making all the normal moves here. Nothing to criticize for me. I'll try to ask some questions, but he can go knight a5, and I'm not sure how many questions I'll really get in. Takes, let's take back. Still knight a5 looks logical. Maybe queen d7 is possible as well. Maybe not, I might take that pawn. I like pawns. People are recommending King-a-ling-a-ling is recommending Phenomenon with John Travolta. Let me think, what John Travolta movies do I like? I like Basic. Probably none of you guys have seen Basic, but I thought that was a very good movie. And yeah, I like Pulp Fiction. Who doesn't? That's about it. And sorry for all the guys whose challenge I didn't accept. I tried to do plenty of these Banter Blitz sessions, and I always try to play guys I haven't played yet, even though it's not my only criteria. My main criteria is randomly clicking on names of the list. But I never managed to play everybody, which is great because it means I'm getting lots of challengers and we still have traffic on this site. But yeah, normally I don't manage to play everybody, and telling me in the chat is not going to help very much because I'm assuming everyone who challenged me does want to play. Max value 10. He's another German, by the way. It's full of Germans, really. Maybe Germans have the laziest Christmas traditions and just do nothing on, what do we call it? Erster Weihnachtstag? I don't even know what it's called in English. First Christmas Day? What do you people call it? 25th. Does it have a special term? I'm sorry, I was staring at the chat. It's not like I'm looking out of a window contemplating my miserable life when I'm doing that, even though it might look like it. Max value 10 keeps playing well here. I have to find a way to pose some problems. Queen a4, he could go knight e5, but then I can take and grab a pawn on c7. Not sure what I want to follow it up with. I'm assuming he wants to go bishop d6. I have a feeling I have a tiny edge. Yeah, a6 is another good move. I'll go here nonetheless. But I'm feeling slightly uneasy about it because, of course, knight b3 cuts off my queen's retreat, and he could possibly go b5. Actually, yeah, I think he can. I should start calculating, really. b5, queen a6, rook b6, queen a8, and he can just go back, rook b8. And it looks like I have to repeat moves, which was not the idea. So probably I'll go for a kamikaze queen sacrifice and lose should that happen. Oh boy. Nah, not really being hard on myself. I just like to whine. But yeah, I shouldn't have missed b5. That's just sad. Max value 10, taking his time here. He doesn't go for it. Maybe he wants to punish me. Or maybe he's missed it. One of the two, rook e8. Perfectly decent move, but it looked to me like b5 was forcing a draw already. Still need a plan. Don't have one, so I'm just gonna win on time. And then brag about it. Should go d4. I probably have to take, then queen takes, knight takes. This bishop is under attack and a2 is under attack. So black should be fine there. Excellent game by Max Value, but he's playing too slowly. That's gonna come back to haunt him when he loses on time. It's blitz game. Queen e4, yeah, he's doing nothing wrong. Keep the queens on the board, just to give my impending flagging some more credibility, saying, yeah, but there were queens, there were all kinds of possibilities, which is true, like this is a playable position, of course, but queen takes e4, I believe, would have eased the black task a little bit. It's too late to speed up when you're down to 3 seconds. It's just too late. You gotta speed up when you like have 30. Even then, it's sometimes too late. But 3 is definitely too late. Sorry, max value 10. Good game though. Even though I will claim a bit of an edge in the final position. Let's find someone else. Really lots of Germans. Everyone's German. I don't have a choice. Very hard. Nonadjustatalpha? Is that like some computer stuff? I don't get it. Nonadjustatalpha? Too deep for me. What can I do? I have a feeling he plays the King's Indian. No, he doesn't. He plays e6. Normally Germans play the King's Indian. That's probably not true either. And you know what? Since I'm in an experimental spirit, I'll go d5. People who've watched this show have probably seen me play knight c3 around 800 times, but sometimes you gotta mix it up a little bit. And I'll enter the messy world of the Benoni. Not a leading expert here by any stretch of the imagination. This system with bishop f4, e3, a4, h3 is quite popular. It's playable. It's one of these lines where the computer always gives a serious edge for white. But then you still have to make good moves. 98 also, I believe, the main setup. Here, what do they do? Rook b8, I guess, here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Benoni on either side. Now, I guess it could make sense to go e4, even though I lost the tempo because he's committed to knight to e8. There's other moves, rook e1. I believe rook e1 is probably the main move in this position. But this sort of looks sensible to me. Now, do I go rook e1? since his queen committed to e7. Probably. Not sure, maybe queen d2 was a little more accurate, because on some lines you want to keep the rook on f1 to prepare f4 breaks later on. I'm not very worried about him taking the e4 pawn. He could go bishop c3 and knight e4. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. After knight e5, it's actually useful to have the rook on f1 so it can support f4 after mutual exchanges. Still, it's just a Benoni. How bad can it be? The thing is, you go to all kinds of length to avoid the Benoni on the white side, or at least I do. Well, if you're playing it with black like a couple tempi down, you think, what is this? This is the best position ever. I control the center, didn't have to give up anything for it. This is fantastic. Here, f4 I'm also not sure about, because I allowed queen d4 check. I'm keep playing pretty recklessly. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, queen d4 check, but it's certainly an option that changes the course of the game. Because after takes, my knight has to go to a slightly awkward square. He doesn't do it, queen e7, but now I feel like I should go for the textbook break, e5. He can't take because of d6. Oh well, he could go queen d8 then, but then even dc7 seems to work. So black has to go passive. A typical move in these positions, which looks insane, is actually the move f5, just trying to take the e4 square away. Well, if he goes knight e8, I can just build up calmly bishop to f3, the knight will come to e4, and this is a pretty bad Benoni scenario for Nonadjustatalpha, which is too long a name. I don't get it. Nonadjustatalpha? Confusing. Do we add alpha or don't we? Queen c7. F94, bishop f5. Is that a nuisance? Might be a bit of a nuisance. I'll play another typical move, which I'm never that sure about, because it always looks good to stop black from going b5, but after b5 takes en passant, question is always, is the b pawn weaker or the a pawn, the b2 pawn or the a6 pawn? And quite often it's the b2 pawn, so I'm never that sure about a5, but here it felt right. And I went knight e4 mainly because I thought he wouldn't go bishop f5, since he had just played bishop d7, and bishop b5 looks more tempting. But now black is in trouble, because I'm threatening e d6 and knight f6 check. If f5 now, I can go knight g5 if nothing better pops up. So yeah, it's a pretty nightmare Benoni scenario. No counterplay, just getting crushed in the center. It's the thing, it's a risky opening. I could just go e d6 cash in, but I don't feel like it. I'm enjoying my position too much, so I'll just go rook d1 and keep my options open about going e6, e d6, knight f6 check. It's pretty grim for black. At least I hope so. And rest in pieces is absolutely right. a6 is a very important move to avoid queen a4 check. Bishop g7, queen a4 check is no good for black. Bishop b6, he's trying to open the position. I guess I should cash in now. There's always more potential weaknesses to attack on the queen side now, especially after b6. And I can't think of any clever waiting moves, so I'll take. He can't go knight d6 because of knight f6 check, so he probably has to go rook d6. When I guess I'll keep it simple and take this guy, and then take this guy. I still feel a little bad about cashing in too early and allowing him to activate some pieces. But yeah, the position should be pretty much winning. Still, it was nicer before I did this. Sad. Once again, greed ruined it. d6 was sort of ridiculous. Starting to mess around, as I've been doing in every game, and I might pay the price for that. Yeah, I've paid the price in form of a pawn. Still in good shape, I would reckon, but certainly no textbook conversion going on here. Good thing is if you start out material up, you can mess up a little bit and still be okay. While if you don't start material up, normally no such luxuries. Not sure how to pronounce the word. Luxury? Luxury. Very tough word. A lot of action in the chat while I'm trying to flag Mr. Mr. Complicated name. Rook f3 looks clever, but it's not working. And Nonadjustatalpha resigns. Good game though. Yeah, I'm terrified of being embarrassed. I don't know, I haven't followed the chat. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. I'll keep playing, and I think I'm gonna need my customary bathroom break. Shouldn't be customary, but we've spoken about my bladder enough. It's just getting sad by now. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Normally I can manage in 2 minutes. See you then. Welcome back, everybody. I feel much better, and I shall continue playing the wonderful game of Banter Blitz chess against you guys on this, whatever we call it, the first Christmas day, that's what we call it, in Germany. And speaking of Germany, pretty much everyone on my list is from Germany. For now, I'm doing my usual policy of going from the bottom, which means rewarding the challengers have waited the longest, but yeah, I'm pretty much mixing it up. Aqua Shocks. Looks like he just started playing on the side, 1472. Not the highest of ratings, but as we've seen in previous games, one always has to be careful, especially if one is a little arrogant like me and thinks, 1600, I'm gonna win, which normally does happen, but I've gotten into a bit of trouble. And it helps focusing. But looks like Aqua Shocks is not around. Maybe I've trash-talked the Germans too much, so he thought he's not going to get a chance to play. So we're going to find someone else. Let's play Mr. Hoppers. Hoppers 1981. I'm assuming that's his date of birth. Maybe it's his FIDE rating. Probably it's his date of birth, because yeah, with the Blitz rating, he's probably stronger than 1981. And I have managed to expertly develop my knight, as I tend to do. Staring at the camera, the penguin is not always in the picture, which is sad. I've not really... Yeah, this is going to be one of these games which, I don't know, actually could get interesting. It's going to be a Fianchetto King's Indian. That's arguably the safest choice against the King's Indian, because it's very hard to get mated with his bishop on g2. And yeah, I've been playing it a bit more often. I've played it against our colleague Pepe Cuenca, my colleague Pepe Cuenca, in a recent Bundesliga game even. Because yeah, I don't like getting mated, but I'm not that booked up on the subtleties as I am in my pet systems like this Gligoric, which I normally play, the bishop e2, bishop e3 stuff. I've lost so many games in that Gligoric, it was time to learn something else. Yeah, I believe this is theory, but in general there's knight g4 and f6. It's not too scary an idea, like blocks his own bishop, and it's worth losing some time moving my bishop back and forth to get this knight g4 and f6 in. Question is always, can you go f5 here? My best guess would be no, but we shall find out. e4, knight d4, I don't know. Strategically this is very risky, because yeah, now opening the center without being, yeah, and having the pieces passive should be good for me. But as I'm saying that, I'm trying to figure out what to do. Not that obvious actually, because there's some counterplay connected to f5 at various moments. I'm sure white is better here, but I'm not sure I'm gonna figure out how to play it. Could allow a knight to d3, but it looks a little strange. Let's see. I don't like this move much, but it's the move I played after careful consideration, so I'm gonna have to live with the results. I thought, yeah, if f5 I can take, and if knight d3 I can just go bishop e3, ignore that knight for a moment, and then try to go after the whatever knight is not on d3. Well, yeah, this makes sense, but here I'm just better because of my better king and better two bishops. Generally, these structures after f5, ef5, and black has to take with a piece tend to favor white, I would say, because in the long run, it's a thing that happens often in the Leningrad Dutch as well. Black king can get a little weak. So far so good, but still have to keep an eye out on all kinds of tricks with knight f3, knight d3, queen f6. Way too early to claim victory. Especially queen f6, I'm not 100% sure how to react to. Thinking about going rook c1, and if knight d3, just rook c2, but it feels a little passive, so I'm not sure. We'll find out. Queen f8, similar ideas, and queen f6, I would guess. Yeah, I'm going to stick to this brilliant idea of rook c1, rook c2. But I keep blundering. I'm just blundering way too much today. I blundered knight b4, like knight e3, rook c2, knight b4. When a sane person would probably repeat moves. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sacrifice an exchange and hope for something better. But I just missed it, which, yeah. Too many blunder. I still think strategically I was doing fine. For what it's worth. Oh boy. Goes a5. Gives me a second lease of life. Is that a word? A little gun shy now about tricks against this knight, so I'll try to exchange it. Yeah, king g2 just to cover the f3 square, even though it leaves my bishop on e4 a little awkward. Bishop h6 I'm happy to see. I was much more worried about rook e8, preparing for unpleasantness along the e-file. Well, now I should have time to deal with that. Not sure what the best way is. I'll go here. I was thinking about bishop d4, but I don't really want to provoke bishop g7, exchanging bishops, so I'll wait for something like knight f6 and then go bishop d4. At least that is the devious plan right now. Here's knight c5, which is better than knight. Knight f6 though. Yeah, one of those positions. I believe white is a little better, but I have to watch out for tricks, and I'm feeling very blundery. Like here, queen c2, for example, knight takes g3, king g3, rook e3, rook e3, bishop f4, king f2. I don't know, looks scary, but I'll go for it anyway. Nope. Gives me another chance to consolidate. I should do that for once. That's the sad thing. I keep claiming white is better, and I honestly believe that, but my play doesn't always show it. It's this thing, like my moves can't back up my understanding, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it does. Still think I'm better. Even though Hoppers is playing very well, and yeah, can't claim all that much. I was going to go bishop b6, but that allows queen b4, so I wisely changed my mind. And as usual, the hope long term is that his king will turn out weaker than mine because it has less shelter. What's going on? The worst opening I ever lost to. I've lost all kinds of crappy openings, but I can't say. King's Indian. I've lost a lot to the King's Indian, which is a pretty terrible opening. Queen e6, good move. I was hoping for knight f2, queen d5, queen f7, rook takes e8, but that is not gonna happen. And it's time to, I don't know where to put it. Probably bishop d4 is the sane choice. But I do like my bishops way too much, so I'm gonna keep this bishop alive. b6, I don't think he has a plan, so I'll do some half waiting, half improving my position moves as well. h5 is interesting, born out of not having a plan, but decent move given the circumstances. I'm worried about h4? No, I don't think I am. Sorry, now I'm talking to myself, but I guess that's kind of the point of the show. I was going to take the pawn because I like pawns so much, but a rook is a rook, as we say, especially on Christmas. So Hoppers 1981 resigns. Sorry Hoppers, interesting game. Yeah, I think I was better strategically, but I wouldn't be surprised if I missed a trick or two here or there. Actually, I pointed out one of the tricks. I missed knight d3, knight b4 was a big problem. Studying the list here. Big internal conflict if my contempt for Germans should be stronger than never having played them, but I don't think it is, and I've never played Darth Janice, so even though it's another German, I shall play him. And of course I'm joking about the Germans. I am German, so I feel like I can get away with it. But between you and me, horrible people. No humor, no style. Like, people dress so functionally. It's cold. It's raining all the time. Not sure I should be a style critic wearing my penguin tie. I should focus on the game. Darth Janice, 2244. Italian, yeah, my default mode, which I'll do for this game again, is to go a6, d6, bishop a7, and then see what happens. I've recently been studying some different setups where you go castles a little earlier, keep the option open of going d5 in one go instead of d6 and all that stuff. But when in doubt, do play what you know. Rook e1, I think, is supposed to be a little inaccurate. At least it allows this move, which is a bit of an inconvenience. Most players start with h3 not to allow this. The point is very cavemanish. Of course, you want to take on f2. Rook e2 is what white does. And now I want to prepare f5. Go king h8, put the knight on h6, and go f5 next move. There's a body of theory here, which I can't remember. Bishop g5 followed by d4, stuff like that. I believe I even had a tournament game in this line once against who was it? Galego, maybe? Portuguese grandmaster. I checked it a long time ago. I thought it was fine for black, but don't quiz me about the details. Knight g3, that's very provocative. First of all, the pawn grabber in me is very tempted to go f takes e4, but I think King's Indian players would probably crucify me if I didn't go for f4 and g5 here. So, tough decision. Okay, let's pretend to be a King's Indian player for once. The thing is, after g5, he's not in time to stop me from going g4 as well. So I hope it's gonna lead to a significant attack. But f takes e4 would have been a bit more in my style. I guess I'm more of a piece play guy on an open board than a pawn structure guy. d4 is correct, but once again, I thought this would not stop my plan of creating a strong attack. Knight h2. I think I'll just keep this bishop alive. Yeah, I think I'm in good shape. Pazili asked about the video series. I've answered this already. I'm working on it. I'm confident it's gonna be in 2015. I'm very slow with these videos. I always get lost analyzing some random position and then I'm not happy with it. But it's gonna come out. Don't you worry. Merry Christmas, Santander. And yeah, condolences to World Junior Champion Transposer, who I haven't seen the game. I heard he lost a bad game to Wei Yi. But life continues, doesn't it? It's the thing about losing. You go to all kinds of length to avoid it, but then you lose a game and it doesn't feel that bad. Like, obviously you'd rather win or draw, but the world doesn't really stop spinning, so just keep going. At least that's been my experience. Like, I've really gone to all kinds of crazy lengths not to lose chess games, but it doesn't hurt as much as you would think it would when you do lose one. Time to checkmate Darth Janice here. I could just go bishop b6, but I have a feeling, once again, that King's Indian players would not be very impressed with me if I took a time out to defend the b7 pawn here. Not sure what I'm threatening though after queen b7, to be honest, but something should pop up. Queen e6, queen c7, bishop f3, knight f3, queen h3, something along those lines maybe. We'll find out. But yeah, in general, my position is overwhelming strategically. It's more about executing now. So what was this line I was talking about? Queen e6, queen c7, bishop f3, knight f3, queen h3. Does look pretty good. Of course, queen c7 is not forced and probably a mistake, but it would be consistent. Goes king f1, which is a better move. Don't you hate it when they make better moves than the one winning line I had seen? Bishop b6 feels a little meek too, but I just don't want any hanging stuff in my position, and it should still be more or less winning. Queen d5. This looks like he's asking for operations on the g file. Yeah, I'm kind of winning. Probably knight e1 or knight h4 is the most resilient, but then I can just take on e2 and go queen h5 or something. It just doesn't look very good. g3 must be lost once again. More gifted player would come up with a more gifted finish here. I'll just keep things simple. Attack stuff. I have too many pieces in the attack. How do I finish this off? Guess. Once again, keeping it simple. I want to sacrifice something, but just don't have it in me. I like taking pieces much more than sacrificing them. And yeah, queen g4 gets the job done because king g2, there's queen g3, and bishop h6, rook f3 is not very exciting either. So yeah, sorry I missed the mating finale, but I managed to take a lot of stuff, which I don't know. What are you hoping for, Darth Janice? Could take on h6 or on a1. It's a tough choice. I'll go with this one. And Darth Janice resigns. Well, we continue going through our list. Found another gentleman who's not even German, whom I have never played before. Mr. Amorabi from France. Let's see what he does. I've learned my lesson about going d4, e5, so I'll stick to my guns, go d4, knight f6, bishop g5, the Trompovsky. And this is the line which I like best, the d5, e3, c5 line. c3 shouldn't be the most critical move, but I've never really spotted a line here which I liked all that much. Now the most consistent move would be queen to b3, but Amorabi decides to spice it up, and being the pawn grabber that I am, I have to think for a second, but nah, give me that pawn. Can't help myself. Lines like this exist, normally not with c3 thrown in, but yeah, it's still some compensation. This is my thinking face Thinking hasn't really worked very well for me today so far. I'm trying to figure out stuff like knight c6, d5, e5, and if I like it or not. I guess I don't like it because of rook dc6 and rook b1. So I'm gonna still play knight c6 and then hope for a miracle. That's a very clever way to play, Jan. What I'm talking about is he can go d5 now. I was planning to go e5, which is a typical reaction, but then dc6, ef4, and rook to b1, let's say queen takes a2, c takes b7. And there's trouble. It starts with rook b1, which is also good, but I like d5 much better because in lines like this one, there would have been queen a4 check after d5, let's say knight d8. Well, now, still dangerous, but at least I have something to suffer for. 2 pawns are 2 pawns, as we say in the business. Even though knight d8 is a little ugly. But what to do? Can't have everything. There was still a problem with e5, dc6. And Amorabi ain't worried about nothing. He just continues developing pieces, and he does have very good compensation. I have to admit, now bishop b5 check is a threat. Ooh, am I gonna get checkmated here? I don't like getting checkmated. Might have to spend a tempo on a6, but that's kind of insane as well. What to do? No, I've misplayed this. Maybe queen takes b2 was a little optimistic and knight c6 was certainly not a good move. But yeah, gonna suffer through it. I'll develop at least one piece, so for the record, got one out. Very scary, just bishop d3. Well, rook a1 is also interesting, but bishop d3 does bother me. Rook a1, queen b2, queen a4 check. I'm also concerned about, but it looks like then I can go bishop t7. f3, also a good move. I'd like to go e6, which feels a little suicidal. Yeah, I guess it's asking a little too much of my poor position. Still haven't given up the idea of developing one day, but I'm not sure if the odds are in my favor to finish development unscathed here. We shall see. Yeah, rook a1 is a good move. Doesn't give me a lot of choice. Oh, does he want to draw? That'd be very disappointing. But it does look like we're headed that way. Am I insane enough to sacrifice the queen to avoid that? Guess I'm not actually. Oh, I was so concerned about survival I didn't even consider the repetition option. But it's there, there's nothing I can do. Yeah, queen a1 is just suicide. No, I have to go for this. Kudos, Amorabi. Yeah, that was not... Well, all my games today have been kind of terrible. But I'm not sure. Queen takes b2 looks consistent. You don't have to do it like any move. Knight takes d2, bishop f5 is fine. This looked consistent, but here knight c6 was just not a good move. Because, yeah, I was planning to go d5, e5, which doesn't work. Or after rook b1, queen a2. Maybe queen a2 was also a little greedy, maybe queen a3. But anyway, I'm not thrilled, but I should probably be happy that I survived that one. Congrats, Amorabi. Who else we got? Mr. Oh, I meant to click on Mr. Smootz, but I think I clicked on someone else. I'll play Smootz next game. Yeah, sorry. This is Rufi. Didn't I play Rufi in this session? I think I did, right? I have a terrible memory. Did I play him? I really can't remember at all. Anyway, I'll play. If I did already play you this session, that wasn't the plan. I can't remember. I wanted to click on, what's his name? The Swedish guy. I'll find you and play you next game. But for now, let's handle Rufi. It looks like the World Junior Champion, Mr. Transposer, is with us. And yeah, people want me to play him, so I'll do that if I can find him in the list after I've played whomever I just meant to click on. Yeah, this is a strange combination of moves, this bishop b4. In this particular position, I'm wondering how to punish it. If I go knight f3, then c5, we're back in known territory. Could go for cheap tricks, like sometimes bishop takes f6, intending knight f6, queen a4 check works, but that'd be a little insulting to Rufi. I'll go here, which I feel is not a very good move, frankly. I was trying to, find something that stops him from transposing to knight f3, c5 lines, but now queen b3, c5, probably just better than knight f3, c5 lines, so my reasoning was not very sound there. He takes on c3, but now I'm just better. bc3 is also fine, not sure what the more accurate way to recapture is. And I'm slurring my words. What's going on? Speech impediment kicking in. Rufi should probably go knight e4. Bishop d8, knight c3. Try to simplify a little bit. b5 is too optimistic. First of all, it's not a very good move positionally. Secondly, I can grab a pawn, which I might have overdone in the last game, but generally I can't resist these juicy pawns, you guys know me. Rook b8. I thought he would go queen a5 check, trying to make something happen, but yeah, both knight c3 or queen c3 look fine there. Now, yeah, I'm kind of winning. What can I say? Pawn up with the better position and structure. I've bungled worse, but it is a pretty pleasant position to start with. If you're having trouble challenging me, you can always search for Jan, go to my profile and challenge me there. I'm not sure, people are on holiday, so I've set up this session all by myself, which I probably didn't manage to add the clickable name below the video or something. I don't know how stuff works, really. I just sit here and make terrible moves. And I just changed my mind and I'm gonna go for the endgame, which, had I come to that conclusion a move ago, I could have done immediately, would have been a little better. But it's still sort of winning. Because yeah, two bishops, extra pawn, better structure. It's hard to screw this up. Totally. And yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff to everyone, of course. Yeah, Rufi was gaining a bit of momentum there, pushing my queen around, but rook c6 kind of ruined it. Because now I can add a bishop to my to my list of Christmas food. Yeah, this is not gonna work out very well. Checkmate. Out of the blue. Sorry there, Rufi. And let's see if I can find the guy I meant to click on, but did not manage. Maybe he's gone. Maybe he hasn't recovered from my non-clicking him. It's only gonna take an hour or so, which is great because it means I have a lot of challengers and I can't find the name I just wanted to play again. And I think I read it out, which is even worse because I can't remember it. I think it was this guy, Smootz. Here we go. What's Smootz? Is that this tobacco you crazy Scandinavians chew? Smootz? Not sure. And I should be more careful insulting Scandinavians. I can get away with the German stuff because I am German. Feel like I can get away with the Scandinavian stuff as well because my name is Gustafsson, but I'm less confident there. Smootz plays the Chigorin, which it's not a great opening, but it's not a terrible opening. It's on the okay me-ish list of openings. Like normally you're slightly worse in one of these many lines, but it's playable. It's not, it's not suicidal. So I don't have that strong opinions on it. I've played it myself once or twice, but I didn't like what I saw all that much. And this line I've been playing with knight f3, knight c3, followed by cd5 and bishop f4. I think it's just the simplest way to get slightly more pleasant position without having to know very much. So I normally do that, even though there are plenty tempting alternatives. But yeah, once again we have this Carlsbad structure. I feel like I've had a lot of this today, where black's pieces are a bit misplaced. It looks nice and active for now, bishops on b4 and g4, but they aren't really doing all that much. And yeah, you can go for early action like Mr. Smootz is doing, but I'm not sure how big the reward is. I had to think for a second about rook c1 as alternatives, where I have queen c2, queen b3, and rook c1 I always have to double check that there's no knight takes c3 and bishop a3 winning in exchange. In fact, you could go bishop f5 here, just threatening this knight c3 and bishop a3. It's a typical trick. But yeah, for now I think everything is under control. We shell both castle. And if I don't blunder anything, I hope I'll be able to show the shortcomings of his developing. Glad to hear I'm motivated, rest in pieces. To crush everyone. That's what I'm here for. To help. Yeah, I think Jan is a pretty common name. But Gustafsson, especially with the two S's like my name, can only be, what can it be? Icelandic or Swedish, right? Even though I'm German, but like the origins of the name. Oh, and here we have a fascinating battle between the two bishops and the two knights. Fortunately, I'm on team bishops, but one always has to be very careful not to blunder knight d2 in any of these lines. Like queen b3 is always the most tempting move to make, but careful with the knight d2 jump. It's a good thing about knights, they're very jumpy. Look, they jump all over the place. And I actually should probably stop talking nonsense and think for a second, because I underestimated knight h4. I thought he would start with queen g5, but starting with knight h4 is smarter. And I have to figure out if bishop e2, queen g5 worries me, which frankly it probably should. But I do love my bishops too much. Sometimes my decisions get a little unhealthy because I'm trying to play Mr. Bishop pair and I'm just making ridiculous moves like the last two, which Smootz should punish me for. Because, yeah, even though I like bishops, normally a bishop on h2 is not the kind of bishop you want to have. So I'm going to have to revive that dude, and it's not obvious how to do it. For now, the plan we're operating with is to go f3, kick this knight away, then do something clever, maybe f4 followed by g4. But I'm not that sure about all of these operations. They looked highly artificial. Smootz retreats, having achieved his softening, or, well, having achieved me going g3 like an idiot. I still like my position, believe it or not, even though this bishop is temporarily, bit of a nuisance. I do have confidence that he's going to come back. I also have confidence that Smootz is going to come back. It says he disconnected. And we have tough disconnection rules or whatever it is. 30 seconds to come back or I'm going to win. Don't want to win like that. Come back, Mr. Smootz. I want to prove the superiority of my bishop here. No, he didn't reconnect in time. Sorry, Smootz. So let's find Mr. Transposer, as I promised. Here he is, the world junior champion under 16. Congratulations, Ruven Vogel. Let's crush him though. I've been playing terribly all day, but still important to crush the youth. If they're there, if they're not there, you can't crush them. Looks like he's not around. Ah, there he is. Go c5. I shall do my usual nonsense. We go d4 or knight c3. I'll go d4 for this one. Big decision every time I have that position. Can never make up my mind. And it looks like we're gonna get a Marochi. Bishop e3 is the main move, but I've always had a liking for this knight c2 line, trying to keep as many pieces as possible on the board. Let's see what happens. Here the main move, according to theory, is knight d7, but in practice pretty much everyone plays bishop e6 every game, so probably they should change the ruling of main lines here, but we'll see. Knight d7 is a decent move, but as I said, everyone plays bishop e6 every game. I have a wealth of experience in this position, even though I never know what move to play. And generally, if one doesn't allow any trickery, white is better here. White manages to consolidate his space advantage. The black pieces normally start getting into each other's way a little bit. But of course, caution is always needed. Always a big decision where to put this bishop. Bishop d2 looks very passive. Does he threaten b5 yet? I don't think he does. King h1 is a bit of a random move, but in general, if white just manages to get his pieces out and maintain the structure, go bishop d2, f3, stuff like that, he can face the future with confidence. h5, I'm not sure what that's about. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to be honest with you. h4, so aggressive. All right. Knight h7. This whole plan I find very hard to believe, but I'm gonna have to prove it's wrong, which is normally the execution part where I struggle a little. Not sure if he wants to go f5 or g5 or what the idea is, but we'll find out. Bishop d7, not showing the plan yet. He wants to go e6. Yeah, I think I should do this. Not 100% sure, because after the exchange of dark square bishops, sometimes it could work in black's favor. In a way. Where did I put this knight? Let's put it here. Because, yeah, if he gets g5 and a knight to e5, this could be quite pleasant. But I don't think black is in time to get all that stuff here. Yeah, I'm not sure I've achieved the max. I'm pretty sure I'm better. But how much better? What to start with? Rook e1 or fe5? Not sure. Not gonna be that easy to crack black's position, but it does feel very suspect. Knight d7 looks like the only move. And I'm not sure about b4. c6 was also tempting. But as usual, I like keeping my options open. a5. Okay, I guess opening the a file doesn't hurt me. dc5, worst case scenario, I have d6. But I still have to find a way to break his fortress. I'll go here, just asking some questions. Not sure about c6. I think I should have stuck with the plan and done something else. Because now there's tricks. Don't we all hate tricks? Yeah, I've managed to make it messy, which is not ideal. I should still be in good shape, but I did not want this chaos. Should be winning, but as mentioned, it's messy. I don't like messy, especially not against tricky young players. F4, King G2, at least I don't see any tricks, which is reassuring. So I'm guessing he's going to try something else. King H5, bit of a random move. Go here and see what happens. Ah, that was a plan. See, didn't see that coming. He's tricky. Queen B3. Very paranoid about blundering mate here. Should probably be less whiny and make an active move instead. But that's how I roll. I'm just very scared of everything. But I got a threat of my own now, which is always nice to have. Takes, I can take. Rook is a rook. And okay, this is not that exciting. In theory, practice it's very exciting. But no, didn't quite work. Yeah, sorry. Complicated game. I think I was much better off the opening, but then I did, yeah, Transposer managed to make it a little messy. But as usual, flagging came through. Let's find someone else. What time is it? Oh, it's late already. I'll play one more and then call it a Christmas Eve. No, it's not really Christmas Eve, is it? Like, I'm really not good at Christmas terminology in English at all. What is it? Christmas Eve was yesterday? Like Jesus' birth? I don't know. I should study that stuff. And today is what? Christmas Day? That sounds correct, but I don't really have a clue. I'll play against chess player. Chess player 007. Here we go. Goes B6. Doesn't even make use of the fact that I went E4 for once. It's Christmas Day today. I gotta figure this out. Today is Christmas Day, yeah? It's Jesus' birthday today? I thought it was yesterday, but yeah, maybe not. I really don't have a clue. I've never looked at this. I guess E5 is better for white. I guess ED5 is also better for white. Chess player 007 seems very pleased with his choice. Yeah. It's playable, I guess. Should be slightly better for white, but it's not the most ridiculous of openings, so I'm not gonna hate too much. I'm more familiar with C5 instead of D5, I guess, in that position. Queen d5 makes sense. I'll castle. Sorry, I keep staring away. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat, but it's impossible. So I should focus on playing some chess instead. Especially against chess player. Chess player trying to brutally checkmate me here. Everyone's so aggressive. What happened to just getting the pieces out? See what happens. Everyone's going for checkmate. So cruel. Chess has passed me by. All this aggression. Bishop h2 problem? Let me think. Knight e4, bishop e4, bishop h2. Yeah, it's a problem. Don't want that to happen. It's not a threat though, is it? Looks like I have time to get some pieces out, but knight e4 would have been a blunder. Yeah, I can't claim I refuted the Owen. Like, I'm fine, but I don't think I'm much better here. If better at all. So, chess players' opening bravado has paid off. Chess player 007, which probably means he's James Bond, but also a chess player. Like, there's a chess scene in the new James Bond movie, but there was something wrong with it. I think the usual stuff, like whatever, the dark square was in the right corner or something like it, but they weren't even really playing. It was just a chess position set up on some board. In a game with a dead guy. I hope that's not a spoiler. Maybe it is. Probably it's not. Anyway, chess player 007, Mr. Bond, is playing very well so far. He's made me go g3, which I'm not thrilled to do. And now he's gonna try to checkmate me. Knight b4, I'm gonna have to neutralize this powerful bishop, which fortunately I can't do without shedding any material. Is shedding a word, by the way? I use it, but I never really know what it means. Like, to my mind, it means the same as lose material. But I make up a lot of words too, so I don't know. I made a draw today, Mr. I forgot the name already. Apologies for that, by the way. I'm just horrible at remembering usernames. Like, names in real life I'm normally quite decent at, but usernames I read them and then they're gone. I just can't do it. I'm sorry about it. Even if it's like a clever name like chess player 007 from Switzerland, I just forget them straight after the game. It's really quite embarrassing. Guess it comes with age. I am an old man after all. Big theory discussion in the chat. I don't know what you guys are talking about. King's Indian or something, I guess. King's Indian is playable. Check out Robin's video series. Robin's video series really is very good. Robin Van Kampen, that is. You find it on Chess24. You click on Learn, and then you search for video series and Robin. He's done a good job on, an opening that's not my favorite, but that's more for stylistic reasons, because you're positionally worse, which I don't like being. But of course, it is a serious opening, and I would never try to talk anybody out of it. Chess player 007 resigned here, which there was no reason to do, because he could have gone knight d5, and I'm not winning a piece, even though it might look like it. So it was very early to resign. Sorry, chess player 007. Was no need for that. Go knight d5, I'll go b4, you go knight f6, and life continues. I'm pretty decent at blindfold, but we're not going to do it today. We might do it the next session. We have this new blindfold mode. But the problem is then people can't see the board. I'm going to go home and I might have found some family stuff, but the main plan, of course, is to watch the Cleveland Cavaliers against Golden State Warriors game tonight. I hope the Cavaliers get crushed, and I also hope the Warriors win, but less so. I don't care that much who wins the West, as long as they can beat Cleveland in the finals. I want to thank everybody for watching this chess show, for all the nice compliments I got on my fantastic tie, for joining me this Christmas day, as I just learned. Thanks for watching, spread the word, become a premium member on Chess24 if you want to participate. Enjoy your holidays. I'll be back maybe with another Banter Blitz, maybe with the New Year's, no, not New Year's thing. What did I want to do? Chess Year 2015 in review. So I'll be around. Enjoy your holidays. See you next time. Bye bye.